Okay. Hi, everyone. We're so excited to have you today to kind of a teaser explain you what the International Bootcamp is about. So today we have some companies from Pennsylvania, some companies from California, some students, and we are actively engaging more companies to join us next week when the program will start. So I'm going to go through the different pieces of the curriculum. I have some colleagues who are going to focus on some of their parts. We have also partners with us. Thank you so much. So I'm going to give you a teaser and kind of explain how all the different programs that exist are presenting and aligning at for IB². So International Business Bootcamp, but we thought IB² was cooler. So overall, it's really focusing on preparing you, evaluating if the Consumer Electronics Show is the right show for you. We've known that show for many, many years. And taking you there if you're ready, and to make sure that you have the best experience that is the most profitable for your business as possible. Also, as it's an international show, what is interesting, we're going to make sure you can meet international buyers, international potential partners or potential clients, leveraging our connections. As you can hear, some of us have little accents or big accents like myself. The work we do with some European startups and the work that US Commercial Services is doing. So CS is a great place to meet also European markets and partners, and Asian markets, especially Japan, South Korea, China. So that's what we want to teach you, so you don't miss out on that opportunity. There any of you who went to CS? No? So it will be a first time for you all. Great. I don't know how many times Sebastian has been there, maybe 10. I think I'm at 7 or 6, 7, 10, right? We don't count anymore. So we know that show very, very well. It's a show, we'll dive into it in some of our session, but really where a lot of different verticals are gathering. And you have very large OEMs, and you have a lot of startup as well. It's 2 full convention centers. It's overwhelming. We're talking about more than 4,000 exhibitors. Pre-COVID, it was 180,000 visitors. We expect that among this next year in January from 151 countries. You will see if you look at their website, it starts on November 9th, but we're putting January 9th, but we put January 8th because there are pre-events, and including the Silicon Valley Funding Summit that we are co-organizing with West Coast partner Angel Networks, Angel Launch, which is a network of angel investors. So keep in mind, January 8th, you have to come on January 7th to be able to take advantage of 25 years ago was quite different. I was not there, but I heard it was really about buying parts and so on. So yeah, the CS had changed a lot, and I'm sure you can tell us all about it. And it's not about consumer as much as it used to be. They're really B2B, B2C. There are a lot of verticals. Maybe Sebastian, you want to add? I could speak about that for an hour, and we're gonna have a full session on that. But Sebastian, can you give us kind of
yeah, so in summary, 25 years ago, it was really a show where China was the most present. It was a lot of gadgets, and it was not that fascinating. It was also the audio industry, so you'll see speakers, and again, not that fascinating. Then at the time there was the famous show was Comdex, which was in November, which was a very famous show for innovation. Comdex died. They did a transaction that didn't really go very well, and it died suddenly. And there was a need for an innovation show, and Comdex was in November, CS was in January. very close to each other. And CES naturally became the innovation show. And that moved the show from hardware to firmware to software. And that moved the show from consumer electronics to not only consumers, so a lot of B2B and B2G, and not only electronics, in fact, since software has been now run in the cloud, and now all the latest trends of technology like AI is taking over. So that's the fascinating part is really all the latest technology in all the different verticals. That's why you're going to see that the show is the largest car show because of autonomous vehicle, and then that leads to the topic of mobility and infrastructure. So that become really a show that encompasses all of that under smart city, for example. That's what it became. So the name is confusing, even when we talk to US counterparts. If you never went, you're like, well, why would I go to the Consumer Electronics Show? And that's the biggest issue they had, was to change that name. That's why it became CS. They don't say Consumer Electronics Show. And then the organizers are called CTA. It's T for technology, but I don't know why they don't get rid of T. And then it became, we keep C because it's about UI and UX at the end. And it should really, it's an issue that should be addressable by everybody, but it's still confusing. So when you will see that really those letters are not really represented well, and it really you'll see the latest technologies for all the different markets at every level, and like I said, it's a lot of B2B and B2G, and more, and so just wanted to add that.
Thank you, Sebastian. And something so smart mobility, smart city, but also smart home, and that goes to medtech and fitness. And we are partnering with University of Las Vegas, who are a very big innovation hub around medtech and fitness health. That it's also a big interest at the show. So the idea is, you can learn about doing international business, staying in the US, going to Vegas, which is so international, and in a fun and practical way. So that's our goal. That's the philosophy that drives us around IB². The previous session, it was around Hannover Messe. That is a show in Germany. But this one, we wanted to take you to Vegas. So the key components of IB². So virtual sessions only, starting next week until December 21st. So for SBDC companies from Pennsylvania, but you will see from California, and we may have a few from Virginia as well. We are working with different network of small business development centers, including the one in Las Vegas. And we work with our international business senior students. We have 4 today. We may have a couple more by next week. Our experts, international stakeholders, so like the World Trade Center, and you will see, others coming. Some programs will be specific for Pennsylvania. Some programs will be specific for California, but it's always the same logic. The STEP grant is available in California. So all the players, all what the tools we're teaching you apply to all the states. It just, maybe it won't be Dino helping you if you're in Pittsburgh, it's just, but it will be working the same. Same for the NSF I-Corps program that Iyad is going to present in a minute. This is for the Mid-Atlantic region, but there is other hubs in California and so on. And the process is pretty much the same. It's just the deadline may not be December 15th for applying for that January program. Because of all the work we do, we have complimentary tickets for you. We have the passes for you. We'll be able to have free passes for the Silicon Valley Summit, so you can pitch and demo your technology if you want to. And we're leveraging programs of the US Commercial Services, who has a great Meet the International Buyer programs, Enterprise Europe Network, and programs done by the European Commission, the European Innovation Council, where you could meet great scale-ups that may want to partner with you because you want to go to Europe and they want to come to the US. Enrich in USA, which is a program actually Tessa Splendo is part of, and BlockTag as well. So bringing European startups to the US to collaborate with our universities. So combine all of that, plus we're engaging corporate partners, and we'll announce who they are next week. We'll have up to $6,000 of in-kind and some traveling stipend. For the traveling stipend, you need to participate at all sessions, but that's what we're doing for you. At worst, the cost to go to CS for you with the plane, the hotel, and the food is about $2,000, and we can try to reduce that. So it's a very affordable show, and we are providing a lot of support to reduce that bill. The students will use Growthwheel, which is a tool that we're teaching them. We're going to teach them to help you with some assessment and to meet mentors from the different ecosystem that we are bringing. We're going to introduce our community management platform, I-Square, and that will be toward the end of the program. So even the program ends in January, some of you may decide not to go to CS, and it's okay, but you will still be able to connect with peers and mentors and make sure that you're ready for next year. So a bunch of partners, you've met some of them today. And Sebastian especially works closely with the organizer of the CS, so it's a show that we know well. Curriculum. So tomorrow we're gonna go in depth of what the US Commercial Services is providing. You know, what you need to apply, how you can meet potential buyers at CS, and we're gonna go more about the organization and the shows and the tools you need to do to meet international buyers at the show and how you need to engage them prior to the show. Then we're gonna talk with the Consumer Technology Association, CTA, and they're gonna give us, you know, the best tips to navigate the CS. It's overwhelming. We're gonna talk with Angel Launch, so especially for some of you who are looking to raise money, Angel Launch is our partner for the Silicon Valley Funding Summit, and the CS is a great place to work on fundraising. You will meet investors, corporate investors as well, and so being ready for that is very important. Something that I love teaching and sharing, it's about building cultural competency. Because at CS and in general, when you go to international show, you have a lot of different audiences from around the world. So we'll help you to understand what to be aware and change your pitch, sales pitch or investor pitch to make it more accessible for international audiences. We do it in 2 sessions and with a lot of examples, so it's fun. A CS is an amazing place to boost your PR prior, during, and after. There are a ton of journalists from around the world being there, so being ready, so while you're at the show, you can push on one button and push, you know, messages, social media, and a PR. It's important too, and important for your fundraising as well. So we're going to have our great partner presenting how you can get ready on the PR aspect for the CS. We're going to help you to work on your metrics and financials and really having your value proposition ready to pitch. We'll do some peer-to-peer, you're going to exchange with each other, give feedback. We're going to, in December, we're going to explain how you can meet OEMs, large players, LG, Siemens, and so on at CES. You have to book it in hotel suites. We will plan 2 different track tours to meet together some of those large players, one in medtech fitness and one in smart city, smart mobility. So it's done for you.
And we'll adapt probably to everyone. We
Yeah,
try
of course.
to bring like two big topics, and then we'll try to adapt to to the group. So we said two. Want to make sure that you don't find yourself on your own having to visit those bigger players. Delegations work well. We get more attention. Usually, we can spend 1 hour, and the engagement is a good one. It's very productive. So that's why we decided on those two tracks, but we'll decide together
Of course.
how we can adapt.
Thank you, Sebastian. And the deadline for the Propulus I-Corps for January is December 15th. So actually, yeah, your session about I-Corps, maybe we'll switch it to December 7th, but you should definitely know about that program and see how you can benefit from it, because it's about meeting potential clients, lead market players to have feedback and work on your plan. So you will see more details, but that's exciting. Then we're going to work more on the matchmaking and the community management platform tools that I mentioned to make sure you can leverage the CS even after the show. And we will meet in Vegas on January 8th. At the University of Las Vegas. We're confirming the room as we speak. And the CS is from January 9th to 12th. Plan a lot of after parties and stuff going on. And in parallel, the Propulus I-Corps will be running, but you need to be selected. So not all of you will qualify or be selected. Our weekly agenda, it's pretty simple. We always go as catching up with everyone, making sure everybody is okay, and if there are special issues we need to address. Then you have a little breakout. We have a little breakout rooms to catch up with your students and your consultants that are a part of the team. So let's say you need to work on your I-Corps application. So you're going to catch up with EAD for 10 minutes. So having that little morning catch up. Then we have the training presentation we discussed, usually try not to be too long, 40 minutes. Then we have, again, work sessions with our students and SBDC consultants to make sure you move forward on your press release, on all of that, and we'll jump room to room. We're trying not to add work on your plate. So during the hour and a half every week, we work. It's not only you listening, but it's also you working and working with the students, so everybody is clear on what to do next. And hopefully you won't have much to do during the week. And conclusion and next step. So that's how it works. We've tried different model, but really having two small breakout sessions is better than having a big one. So any questions? I'm going to go into some programs a little bit more in details. Any questions? You can speak up. I hope you're excited.
I can add, Blonde.
We're going to go in details in some programs, but go ahead, Sebastian.
No, I can add, Blondine, that for the I-Corps program, so we'll work with some of the state to figure out also where that fits. It looks like it's more with some of the state. About students, the relationship with the University of Vegas is that they will provide students. They will provide students for the program during those 10 weeks, but also at the show to help navigate and to make sure those meetings are well set up. Hopefully from the San Jose State, we'll have students also. So the whole point is obviously we expect some preparation from the companies, but because we're going to do those 10 weeks, those 10 weeks will kind of create the right momentum for all of you. So you don't have too much to think. We put you in that momentum. We remind you what needs to happen. And so it's a kind of a feel-good thing that the hand-holding is really doing the whole work for you. So that's the exercise. So for a moment, you don't see everything because it's a session 0 presentation, and not everything has been put in place as we hope, but you will see as we move forward, like for the choice of the room, or we have 3 rooms to look at University of Vegas. that was supposed to be done 2 or 3 weeks before. And so just want to make sure that for the ones that didn't hear about certain things like the I-Corps, we'll cover that, and I will bring that up in one of those sessions and with the right people from the West Coast, and so that they can connect the dots also with I-Corps. So also for the companies from foreign countries, the fact there is a commitment in the US, you will see that they have a chance to participate to a lot of those programs as long as they commit to their region and they grow in their region. It's something that many companies don't really know. So job creation is a big KPI for the region, for the city, for the county. And so that's why you find yourself here in that exercise among our US companies. And I just wanted to, explain for the ones who are here from foreign countries and for the ones we see those companies being here. Also, we've been working with a lot of them, also through other programs and making sure that they have this commitment to the US and making sure they get clients and partners through all the other programs we have. And CS is an important one anyway, so we thought it would make sense to kind of find the perfect synergy between the SBDC programs and those EU-funded programs, for example.
Thank you, Sebastian, and thank you, Hugo, for joining us. You will be able to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Hugo.
But you're at the right time. We're gonna explain a little bit some of the programs that we're leveraging. So the US Commercial Pavilion and Meet the Buyers events, it's a fantastic program during the show. So I took those pictures in January. And so you have planned dates where you can meet foreign buyers that they bring at a dedicated matchmaking location. So you will hear from them and what they do. Tony Poo will join us during the cohort, but if something to plan, and we'll know about the exact timing, but something to plan in your schedule. And this is at the Eureka Park, which is the floor where all the startups are. And then there is an additional floor where all the scale-ups are. But most likely you will be there at least for 2 days before moving to the large OEMs, large player parts, which is more than an hour away from that place with traffic. So they are very, very active at the show. We're leveraging also the Enterprise Europe network because Temple is a member of that network, which has developed tools to help small and medium companies, technology companies, to meet each other. So it gives us additional tools and programs to leverage. So if you're interested, you can be invited to some parties and some activities around the Enterprise Europe network, but also the European delegations. As you can see, this is a network way larger than Europe, with partners like Temple or Chamber of Commerce or consultants who are working to match at pro bono or very small cost partners. So there is a World Trade Center network, and we'll have the opportunity during our sessions to present that, which is fantastic. This is another network to know of. EN is especially good for matchmaking at trade shows, like the Hanover Messe, European shows, and some international shows. So it's interesting to know that.
And it's very similar to the SBDC network. So in fact, the story is that the EU wanted to work with SBA, and we are educating the EU on how to work with the SBDCs on the ground, which makes more sense. They really work. There are a lot of similarities. Their mission is to help SMEs, including obviously startups. They have common tools. So we are now proving through the exercise that those two networks should work more together. And by the way, there is an MOU that's been signed between EN and the US commercial service. So it's already a relationship that's happening. So we are to educate you on all those programs that are meant for everyone, not only for the Europeans, not only for the Americans, because those networks are way beyond those borders. So that's why we talk about the
SBA, Small Business Administration, and concretely what it means. We will tell you about virtual or hybrid events and how to participate to meet potential international partners, buyers, clients. So it's an additional tool to meet people. This is the Silicon Valley Funding Summit. Sebastian, which edition, how many did you do of Silicon Funding?
Probably eight, about eight. We used to do that in hotels. We do that now more and more with CTA. So, for example, for the winners of those sessions, we give them spot on the floor of the Eureka Park on the stage, where also we invite the Select USA and or commercial service to talk with us, and we have give the opportunity to the companies that win those type of competition to also pitch in front of the audience of the Eureka Park. So that's really a tight relationship. Here you see there was a last event. At the bottom center is was the head of EIC in Europe, which is the European Innovation Council. So we have those relationships quite tight. And again, it's an example of the network, but it goes way beyond US, Europe. The whole point is we leverage things that have been funded by some governments, and we're here to persuade everybody that it's really meant for them, and not just for one side. The collaboration is bilateral. And so that event you will see has a lot of maturity. It's 50 plus investors coming. People know about it, and that's the day before, because we take a whole day with all the way to kind of a cocktail party at the end, and so there's a lot of wine and dine also for you guys to network.
And really, you all want to sell and export, but when you start thinking of collaboration, there is funding on both sides. So that's why we want to show you sometimes finding a partner that can resell, but also add something to your product or your solution. You can receive some funding to establish that type of collaboration. So it's exciting. Iya, do you want to present your slides? Because what I love about I-Corps, it's open and also supports the market discovery with international partners. So could you explain a bit more about your program?
Yeah, of course. Thanks again for having me. I'll keep this short. The National Science Foundation's I-Corps program, is a program for essentially teaching the basics of customer discovery. It's if you've heard of the lean startup methodology, it's teaching that. So it's aimed primarily at people whose technology is coming up through the university ecosystem. So the way it works is that there are effectively two tiers, two levels of programs. There's a regional program, which includes 4 half-day sessions that you do on Zoom, and we teach you the basics of customer discovery, what's a minimum viable product. Again, these are things that a lot of you will have thought about at different levels, but for certainly a lot of our students, it's like a totally new concept. But we actually force people to go out and conduct customer discovery, figure out who their stakeholders are, talk to different people. It's almost like bringing the scientific method to business planning. So in essence, making a hypothesis about who would buy or who would want to, to be involved with your company, who would want to help you develop your technology, and then you go out and you test that hypothesis by actually, talking to customers. After the regional program, there's a national program, which is a lot more intensive. That comes with a $50,000 grant to do customer discovery. And certainly within the U.S. Small Business Association ecosystem, that sets you up fairly well for the SBIR Small Business Grant Program. So for those of you who don't know, there's a series of grants called SBIR and STTR, which I'm going to forget the acronyms right now, but effectively those are grants for small businesses to develop new technologies. Sorry, my phone decided to ring. So if you've done this customer discovery and you've gone through the I-Corps program, that makes you a strong candidate for getting SBIR money, which can be a really nice way to develop new aspects of your technology for the United States market. The regional program, let me just finish with this. The regional program that we run, we run it typically 6 times a year. This is in the Mid-Atlantic region. We run it 6 times a year. So it's essentially a revolving program. The next session that we're accepting applications for takes place in January, and there's an application deadline of December 15th. However, there will be multiple, like I said, we run it 6 times a year. So as soon as my management has selected the times and dates for the next sessions, those will be posted as well. And you can apply for those. So there's no specific rush to get into the January program if it doesn't suit you. You can find out all the information you need by emailing me. You can just Google my name. I think I'm the only one of me around. You can also you can just look up the NSF I-Corps. We are the Northeast region. There are other regions all around the country. So if you think another region might be a better fit for you, by all means, get in touch with me and I'll be happy to make an introduction. Thank you.
So I didn't check. A couple of things that I love about your program I want to add. So first,
please,
even if you decide not to apply to join that program, we will share a bit about the methodology for you to interview key players at the CS. If you do get selected, if it's not January and the following one, NSF I-Corps program is very prestigious, and it's a good way to re-engage a partner that, especially a large OEM, that is hard otherwise to interview. So you have that additional soft approach where you can get more information because it's NSF I-Corps. So that's very exciting. Third thing that for me, it's fantastic. It is open for foreign nationals, as long as you're working with one of the hub, one of the university, and you're local. So compared to the SBIR, Small Business Innovation Research grants, where you need to be green card holder or American at 51%, this I-Corps is really meant for international. And some of that grant, if you decide to go to a show overseas, with approval for customer discovery, after approval, you could use that for international markets. So it's really part of the IB² DNA. It's the first time that we partner with I-Corps, but we're so excited, and especially we're so excited to be part of it with Splendo, who got selected. So you're going to know all about it, and no matter what, that methodology will be very useful for the students to help you and for you as well to engage with potential clients.
Thank you for adding that. I couldn't have said it better myself.
And then toward the end of the program, we're going to use a platform that we use in Enrich and another project, GI², that really helps you to follow up and engage mentors and also different stakeholders. So you will see about that, but it's a great tool that we can use. That's a kind of an idea, like part of the cohort, and you can see us and how it looks like. So quickly, we didn't introduce ourselves in details, but I'm a part of I'm managing international programs. I have a lot of experience more on B2B than B2C, I need to admit, and I love writing grants and helping our companies to figure out alternative ways of funding to support their development and support international collaboration. So feel free to reach out, and I always put my WhatsApp because it's the best way to contact me. It's through WhatsApp. I'm also a Nice Byte certified. That is for import export. I am also a Grosswill certified advisor, which is kind of bringing more tools and to you to help you brainstorming and thinking. Just quickly, our SBDC, so there will be different SBDCs, but our PA SBDC is a network of 16 universities. IB² is in close partnership with our Pittsburgh University, Pitt University SBDC. Brent couldn't join us today, but you will see him, and we have some companies of Pittsburgh who are going to join us as well. So we have wonderful numbers, and we do a lot of work in the community. And we can provide to you additional, at no cost, consulting, individual consulting for Pennsylvania. But if you belong to the California SBDC, it's the same. You have access to a lot of consultant and experience. As long as you have a US address and a US phone number, you can have access to those consultants across the US, actually. Most of our SBDCs are in universities, not all of them. So you've made my partner in crime, Sebastian. Do you want to add things about, I think you explained a lot, but do you want to add things about your profile?
So it's the same thing at SBDC, Northern California. They provide a lot of consultants under TFG, Tech Future Group. For this program, like I said, we might move the program to Camp-Humboldt to San Jose State. We'll have to work the I-Corps application probably through Berkeley. So for the ones who are interested, and I will make sure that I introduce everyone to the link and introduce to the right people. Nothing special. We, as you can see, we combine a lot of programs that can be combined and can be matched. Also in terms of funding. So that's why you see all those logos and all the different programs being aligned, and that's a unique way of talking about customer discovery, a unique way of talking about business development, a unique way of talking about international markets, and trade shows are the perfect place. I think we're all in agreement. Thank you.
You're sweet, Sebastian, to sell our program, but I wanted you to sell yourself. You have depth experience in the software industry, in the tech, in fundraising. You're in San Francisco.
So I was in the software industry for a very long time. So I did 3 exits in software industry, but more selling to enterprise software. So selling a company to EMC, selling a company to OpenText, and selling a company to MDSL, which was a BPO to process utility bills and T&E bills. And as the journey in the US now is more than 25 years, we always been working with foreign companies naturally. And we decided then with Blondine to come up with program that would really help smaller companies, entrepreneurs, and that would be funded by government. But I've always been in the software space. Obviously, software is what makes everything smart. Underneath, you have the algorithm and everything else. Now that we have the explosion of AI, we all know what that means, because before AI was a buzzword, but now it has a real meaning, and so many applications. I think it's exciting to know that we're going to be at CES with that huge waves of AI application. And if there is one thing, customers discovery, finding partners, but really understanding the latest trends, we're going to be at the perfect moment where we see how the application is going to be how AI is going to be applied to all the different markets we talked about, and CS is a perfect place for that. So thank you for the introduction. And so also I saw Hugo coming after. He can always introduce himself also after obviously.
We're almost done. So Jeffrey will introduce himself next time, but he's been an amazing asset to align with the student work, because we know how our entrepreneurs are busy. So having with his help, getting the student aligned is critical for this program.
It's another program that we align with, the cyber program.
Yeah.
Where it's all more about students and academics looking at international markets. So it's a perfect fit. And so we add, and we align, and really that's what we are doing here.
We have past cohorts, so it was more on manufacturing and a bit medtech because we were focusing more on Hannover Messe. We can share that application if you want to look, and we have some great quotes from our clients. And fun fact, Abhishek gonna come back because he loved it so much, and he wants also his sons to go through the program and go to CS with us. So it was lovely to have somebody who's gonna repeat for a new show, but still there will be a lot of things in common from what he went through already. And students liked it as well. So that's kind of it about our session. Please, if you have questions, let us know. You have nothing to do because you've already registered, so all is good on your part. People who are watching us now at the recording, please sign up by the 17th or text us. Yes, Cindy, you have a great point. Before I conclude, there is no booth for you. There is no booth for you yet. We are looking to see if you want a booth, we may. Hi, thank you for coming. If you want a booth, we can make it work. But if you don't know that show, we do not recommend to have a booth at the show. It's too overwhelming. You're going to miss out opportunities and you're going to waste your money. However, the US Commercial Services has a booth where you can meet and organize meetings if needed, and we'll show you how it works. But you will not have to stand there.
Yeah, for the first time, it doesn't make sense. You'll be overwhelmed by the people coming to you. You wouldn't be able to really sort it out. And the biggest mistake is not to understand the show before doing the show. And the show is an evolving animal. It's like because it's the largest show in the world. It's what you learn. You're going to be able to capitalize on that, but then you will understand how it's evolving, and maybe if your car is the right place for you or not. Because now they start to verticalize also the other exhibit halls, and maybe if you're in Smart City, you might want to go really close to the player there. So that's where we want to make sure that everything you're going to learn is you can capitalize on that, understand how the show works for next year, and then you'll decide where you want to have a booth. So that's really our experience. You'll be already overwhelmed, but obviously by holding your hand, it's going to be organized enough for you to have a constructive approach and really focusing on your goals, and if you like it, really prepare well for next year, and that's what we're trying to do.
There is no real matchmaking platform. They're doing a program with investors, but it's not working well. So we'll see what they're gonna launch for this year, because it takes 2 hours to go sometimes from one place to another. So it hasn't worked. The show is not meant for meetings. It's done in some hotel suites, and we're gonna take you to there. It can be done by the US Commercial Services at those stations, but that's why it's complex. And that's why we're here to tell you how to get meetings, what you can expect, how it works, because it's so huge. It cannot be just, meeting people every 30 minutes. Right, Sebastian, do you want me to add? I'm reacting to Cindy's question.
But it's most of you are a lot of you are the MVP V1 type of level. So you have things to show, but you may find so many reasons for not having a booth. We're just including some elements. For the moment, we're still trying to figure out what is your place. You know, I remember so many conversations with Hugo, with Francisco about so customer discovery is a big thing. For that, you need to talk to the right players. You need to identify them and spend time with them. There is no reason to talk to people just to talk to people at a booth. We won't be able to identify you as a player because you're gonna come with or too many messages or something confusing. It's really when you have a product, I would say at a certain stage, or a technology that's well defined because it's also the Eureka Park. It's called for the startup. Our place for you know your type of stage, but we know by experience it's only the second and third year that they start figuring out how to present themselves, and the first year is not really working well. So that if you can save money and get prepared for next time, and really focusing on your target to get your message across, to understand what you're gonna go after. First, as you all know, the US is think big but start small. Well, stay focused, really deciding what would be your verticals, and be ready for those strong messages that make sense when you do your show.